Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Andrea and I have been selling on Etsy for 8 years, which is still crazy to say to me, but this YouTube channel is where I share everything I've learned over the past 8 years and Etsy strategies and day in the lives and all those sorts of things. So if you are interested in Etsy, you are in the right place. Today specifically, we are going to be answering a more techie question, which has been the theme on this YouTube channel lately, but we're going to be answering what is the best printer for Etsy? Okay, so as you can see behind me, that is my printer setup right there. I actually recently just switched my printer setup, and so this video is timely, but I'm just gonna be talking through what you guys might need to print for Etsy, some options that you have, all those sorts of things. One thing I do want to clarify really quickly before we even really get into the nitty-gritty of things is that this is not for sticker shops. So there are a ton of really good resources for people who are looking to print stickers for Etsy. This video is just for basically anyone who's not a sticker seller on Etsy, what kind of printer you would want. So if you are looking for a sticker specific printer or printing anything like prints or whatever, this video is not for you. Maybe click away and find a different video because I will not be diving into like quality of printers as much as just kind of what you need to print for Etsy and which ones we've had really good luck with. Ease of setting up wise and stuff like that. So first things first, most Etsy sellers need a printer just for like a billion different reasons, right? So we at my Etsy shop, I sell embroidered goods which inherently comes with a lot of personalization. And so we print out an order sheet for every single order that we make and ship out of the shop. Basically, every order has a dedicated order sheet that stays with that order while it's being made and then gets pitched once it's shipped out. So that being said, obviously every single order we have to print a piece of paper for, and so we need a generic printer, just a regular old printer to do that. We cannot get by with just a label printer because we obviously need a print paper as well. If you are basically anything that's personalization, I can see that being a good strategy for you. Even if you don't have personalization, you still might need to print things like gift messages and scan forms for your USPS postal workers, lots of things like that. You probably just need to have a printer. What kind of printer you have definitely depends on how much printing you are doing for your shop. So what we're talking about right now is basic printer. So 8.5 by 11 prints out sheets of paper kind of printers. You have a couple options for that. You have a gajillion options for that, but I'm saying under the two categories, you can use an inkjet printer or a laser printer. What you want to look at whenever you're deciding between those two types of things are how often you're printing. So like I said, we print a lot. And so it did not take very long for us to switch away from inkjet because ink is very expensive if you're having to buy a ton of it, to a laser printer that takes toner. Laser printers are a little bit more expensive on the front end, but absolutely worth it if you're going to be doing a lot of printing because that ink can add up. So definitely recommend a laser printer if you will be doing a lot of printing. In the past, we've had a Brother laser printer that I absolutely loved. I had it for years and it finally quit. And no printer's the same, but now we have an HP LaserJet, I think is what it's called. I think it's called an HP LaserJet. We really like this printer a lot. Super easy, feeds in. It was like a couple $100. I definitely like this laser printer as well. Like I said, we do a lot of printing, so we will always stick with a laser printer. If you are thinking that maybe an inkjet printer would be best for you, the HP DeskJet is what we have at home, and we really like that printer there as well. So those are kind of your options for regular old printers. Now we're gonna move into a couple options that you have for printing shipping labels. You don't have to have a thermal printer, which is something that I harp about, but we're gonna talk about just a few options concerning that. So like I mentioned, you do not have to have a thermal shipping label printer or like a printer specifically for shipping labels in order to print shipping labels on Etsy that are still sticky and easy to do. So we shipped out, we literally just got a thermal label printer like this summer. And so we probably shipped out over 15,000 orders with sticky label paper. So label paper, okay, so I was able to find a sheet around the shop even though we stopped using this. But basically label paper is paper that you can buy on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description that just peels off a half label like that. Obviously you would print it on there, and you can format the printing settings in Etsy to print this way. And then it has 2 labels per sheet, and you just print it out of a regular printer. So that was how we shipped probably 15,000 orders or more. We literally just switched over to the thermal printer because our new printer kept jamming with this stuff. So, which was so annoying. I know that a lot of people, I think it's because our printer bottom feeds instead of top feeds. So I know that a lot of people with the top feeding printers use this and have a lot of good luck with that. And so if you're not going to buy a thermal printer, I do recommend maybe getting one that top feeds. But that is an insanely cost-effective way to do shipping labels. We did it forever. Absolutely recommend it if you're not trying to spend the extra $200 on a thermal printer and also still have the same cost in paper and everything. So that is one really good option for printing shipping labels. Let's talk about thermal printers. So we are very new to the thermal printer game. I'm basically just going to share with you what we have, just because I don't know that I can in good faith be like, I tested all of these thermal printers, because that's not what we did. So we just switched over to a thermal printer, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically just a printer that only prints out 4x6 shipping labels, which is it's really great if you are printing a lot of shipping labels, but you definitely need it in addition to another printer if you're going to have an Etsy shop. So we decided to get the Munbin or Munbun printing shipping label printer. I really like it. I do have to hardwire it. I cannot figure out how to wirelessly set it up. I know that they say Rollo printers are better for the wireless setup. I'm sure the Munbun is possible, but I didn't mess with it long enough to figure it out. Like, I definitely would rather it be wireless so I could put it wherever I want, but I didn't mess with it long enough. So we hardwire all of our printers just because it's easier. And by hardwire, I mean just we plug a USB into the back of the computer, and that's how it stays connected. So we always print from the same computer. But so far, we have really liked our thermal printer. I don't know that I like it more than the label paper. The benefits of the thermal printer over using a label paper is that, one, the labels are more waterproof, but in shipping 15,000 orders, I have never had a problem with that. So that is not something I'm going to worry about. Like, apparently the thermal printer labels, like, you can dump water on them and it wouldn't smear. I don't know that it would do that though with that, because I've never had an issue with that. I printed 15,000 labels and I have never had one get returned or like lost because of rain. So I wouldn't worry about that. As far as ease, I actually feel like I like the label papers better as far as like when I'm packing orders. But maybe that's because that's just what I'm used to. I'm getting more used to this. It does print out really easily. However, if I had a LaserJet printer that wouldn't have jammed whenever I use the label paper, I definitely would not have switched, just because it's what I'm used to. It's what it's good. It's cheaper. Those are $200, which is not a lot of money, but you know what I mean? Like, why spend $200 if you already have a thing that works? So definitely, probably, if I had a printer that would work, I still would be using the label paper, but this is fine. It's good. It prints out really well. It prints out in one big, like, long thing. Then you have to wrap it back up. But yeah, it's good. I like it. My current setup right now is the HP LaserJet with the Munbin, which is the real benefit is that we're not printing order sheets on label paper. We used to make that mistake, not that often, but often enough to be like, for it to be annoying. So that doesn't happen anymore, but we do also sometimes print orders out to the Munbin, which is wrong. We forget to change the printer over. Anyways, I think my preferred setup would still be to have the Brother LaserJet printer. That was absolutely amazing. I love that thing. But it was heavily understocked from COVID. So this is what we have right now. I really like it. I'm positive that it'll serve us really well throughout busy season. I hope that kind of answers your questions. To kind of recap everything, basically for your basic 8.5 by 11 printing on paper, you have the option of getting an inkjet or a LaserJet. I definitely recommend doing LaserJet if you have a lot of printing to do. And for shipping labels, you have the option of printing out on your regular printer, label paper, or you can get a thermal printer that prints out on 4x6 labels, and there's a few options for that, and we have the Munbin. So that is the end-all be-all overall spiel of my printers. I really hope that this video was helpful. I hope that this doesn't overcomplicate buying a printer, because obviously if I was to choose for you to stew on a printer forever or to just start your Etsy shop and start moving, I would absolutely choose for you to just start moving with your Etsy shop and not focus on the printer. But if you're in the process of trying to decide a printer, I really hope that this video was helpful. If you are trying to grow on Etsy, that is what we talk about every week on this channel, twice a week. So make sure to subscribe and hang out with me here. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.